Matt, you own anything that isn't black?
I do. I have a delightful yellow T-shirt from Kingsley and Scout here in Spokane, Washington.
A yellow shirt. When's the last time you wore a yellow shirt?
It was a while ago. I mean, I posted it on Instagram.
How'd you feel? Were you feeling confident, strong?
Yeah, I felt strong.
I'm here with Matt Booth, founder and CEO of Room101, and you're just one of my favorite people in the industry. I'm super excited to have you on the podcast and on the show, and I love working with you so far, and I can't wait to hear the whole story. So let's start with, do you remember the first cigar you ever smoked?
I do.
Tell me about it.
I remember it vividly, far more so because of with whom I was smoking than what I was smoking. I was with my Uncle Lee, and he was...
How old were you?
About 16.
Yeah.
About 16. And it was his cigar of choice, the White Owl, a very fine value smoke. And this is what he smoked on the regular.
Yeah.
And for me,
you grew up watching him smoke.
Oh yeah.
And at 16, you kind of felt this is the time where you make that turn.
Yeah. I mean, my grandpa, his father was a pipe smoker. You know, so tobacco was ever present in our households and lives, but no one else smoked cigar except Lee. You know, and effectively he was the coolest guy in our family. So. Obviously, when the opportunity to join him for a cigar materialized, I jumped at it, you know?
Yeah. So let's back up. So tell us kind of the Matt Booth life story. Where were you born? Where'd you grow up?
I was born in the South Bay in Los Angeles, in Torrance. My mom and I moved out of Hawthorne when I was younger and came to Spokane, Washington. I spent a lot of my youth going back and forth between here and my dad's place. In Orange County, and ultimately ended up enlisting in the Marine Corps a couple years out of high school. Really more so to just change my life direction. And following my enlistment, 4 years in the infantry I spent there, I got out and I moved back to Hollywood, and I did everything from personal security for wealthy folks to sound engineering and anything in between.
At what point did you kind of start thinking about this chapter of your life? I mean, how did you stumble into doing what you do now?
Initially, I became more and more enamored with the idea of jewelry design because I was so taken by a lot of the pieces that I saw floating around. I lived down on the east side of Melrose, and I would always make my way up to the shopping area, and I found what at the time was the Von Dutch flagship retail store, right?
Right.
And within this store, I found this beautiful display case full of silver jewelry that later come to find out a gentleman that would become a friend and one of my mentors in the business actually was contract manufacturing for them. So it took a few visits, and one of the kids that worked there offered to introduce me to one of the guys that was involved in the silver and leather work for their store. And through him and through a chance yet cosmically correct chain of connections, I ended up meeting the gentleman that I'm now partners with in our factory in Los Angeles.
So you're kind of a renaissance man of sorts. I mean, you've done a little bit of everything, but do you feel like you've always had this artistic, creative side to you, or?
I was always very plugged into music.
Yeah.
That was my creative outlet. Physical or 3D art was never really on my radar until I was inspired by these pieces.
You just saw these pieces and it just blew you away. It kind of, that was the turning point.
The idea of creating custom forms in 3D was really appetizing because I was interested in realizing some of these characters from Japanese mythology that I was very inspired by. Some of these deities that I had discovered while deployed in Japan. And I thought, hey, this would be cool. This is something that hasn't been done before. We could take this biker style, format, but put this new twist on it.
Yeah.
And so that was the initial inspiration behind Room 101.
Yeah, a lot of artistic people like yourself, they say their art is a way of expressing themselves because they feel like they have a lot to say, but they don't have the words for it.
Okay.
Do you feel that way? Like, do you feel like you're expressing yourself through your jewelry and through, your other ventures?
I mean, I have a few words. I have a few. I'm equipped with some words, so I don't know that I'm limited in that in that department. But I think our overall brand is an expression, an effort and expression.
So jewelry started the brand. I mean, how would you, if nobody had ever seen it, which I hope there isn't a living soul left on earth that hasn't seen it, but how would you describe the Room 101 brand?
It's a fully comprehensive lifestyle offering, a collection. Our core categories, as you know now, are made-to-order jewelry, craft cigars, and craft alcohol, craft spirit, right? Specifically gin. Yeah.
So, I mean, no doubt you've had some obstacles and some closed doors, some ventures that didn't quite maybe work out, and yet, in spite of those challenges, I mean, you've had incredible and impressive staying power in these categories. I'll argue you outlasted, the whole trend of the custom silver jewelry. I mean, it got really popular. Everybody was wearing it. It kind of died down. You're bringing it back single-handedly. I see it everywhere, and I always question, is that match jewelry? And cigars as well, right? We had a huge boom 15, 20 years ago. That died down a little bit. Now it's coming back, and then of all the liquors that you choose to produce, you choose gin, which also is just now seeing a renaissance. I mean,
yeah. Look, man, in all these spaces, many have come and gone in the period of time that I've continued to operate, right? And also, specifically as it applies to gin, I was dead set on gin from the moment I knew that I wanted to include an offering in the spirit realm in our brand. It's very simple. I believe that gin was going to be afforded its day in the sun to be boutiquified. I felt that the craft product movement was going to befall gin. And this is prior to that
actually coming to be.
Yeah,
it was just...
And I think now if you go into a Total Wine, which Room 101 is proudly served in Total Wines, select locations across the country. If you find yourself in a Total Wine and you afford yourself a minute to check out the gin selection, you're going to see a whole lot of less than traditional presentation. You can see the craft product phenomenon very alive and well in the gin space.
Yeah, I love that. So the one thing that we haven't talked at length about is the cigars. I'm a huge supporter and huge fan of your cigars, and literally every cigar you have ever produced is among my favorites. So how do you do that? How do you make time after time an amazing cigar?
Well, I mean, you have to, first and foremost, you have to have manufacturing partners where you share trust and create a vision.
So tell me about that very first meeting.
It was through a chance and cosmic set of coincidental connections that led me to meeting in a very short period of time several people all deeply engaged in the premium tobacco market in kind of different positions. Right?
Okay.
Brand owners, marketing directors, and the lot, right? And one of these gentlemen eventually proposed that we create a cigar collaboratively. And I agreed, and a week later I was flying to Honduras to walk through a cigar factory for the first time.
I love that, and I love the story about your first cigar because obviously this is for, ATF magazine, and, people certainly ask, us the same questions of, why would you put these things together? And certainly there's some, there are favorite things. If I had hobbies, they would include these three things. But those are the hobbies more because of the experiences I've had when I'm involved in them.
Of course.
It isn't, it isn't necessarily drinking alcohol alone or shooting guns alone or smoking a cigar. It's usually the people that you end up surrounded by when you're involved in these things, and other people that share those same interests. It always creates a deeper experience, and you always find this common bond even when you have nothing else in common. It's more values based. So when you're creating those things, do you envision the customer at all?
I think that there is an undeniable currency in authenticity. And I think that consumers that consume anything, I think that authenticity is a currency that resonates on a deeper level. So deep that I think that some people may not even be able to illustrate why they're more compelled towards one product or the next, right? But I think if it reeks of authenticity, I think it's undeniably potent in a different way.
Well, I think, I would argue it's one of the reasons why I'm such a big fan of yours is because you're authentic, right? You walk the walk. This isn't just an image. This isn't just a brand with marketing behind it that you're trying to, be cool or rock and roll. Like, you really are cool and rock and roll. But more than that,
Thanks,
you're a good guy. So as we get ready to wrap up, what is your go-to alcoholic drink right now?
Room101 Gin. Thank you very much, sir. Were you suggesting there was something else? Was that the suggestion?
I wasn't sure. I thought maybe you were, kind of mixing it up a little bit.
Or Alizé.
Okay.
Either one.
Okay.
Either Room101 Gin or Alizé.
All right.
Only the teal color, though. I only like that one.
I like that.
Yeah.
You care to share anything about what's next in the Room101 liqueur line?
We're going to keep it to gin, but I want to expand the offerings. Possibly a barrel-rested gin, possibly something with a higher proof. I know that they refer to this as a Navy strength. We're probably going to call it Marine strength. Sorry.
Amen.
But just to expand, to show people our capabilities within this category.
Yeah.
Before we try to experiment outside.
Okay, I like it. What is your go-to cigar right now?
Padron 64 anniversary.
Is that a new go-to, or that's always your go-to?
That's just forever.
All right, I like it.
Principe size.
What do you like about that?
It's phenomenal.
Yeah,
It's perfect.
Consistently
It's delicious.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. What's around the corner in your cigar line?
Several new products this year. Several Nicaraguan extensions made with Hoya de Nicaragua. A new anniversary series made proudly with AJ and Esteli. And of course the smattering of limiteds and unobtainables and all these things that make the cigar world go round.
I love it. I love it. And then last category, which unfortunately I have not yet found a Room101 AR. What is your favorite firearm?
Well, I do like the AR platform.
Yeah.
I think it's the most, for me, I've grown up shooting, and I built a couple ARs when I was about 15, 16. So it's a platform, it's a system that I've been very familiar with for years. So it feels the most at home, I guess, in my hands.
Yeah.
I mean, for just like fanciful collection type stuff, I really like the Galil, man. I like the Galil. The guys at Axis are actually building me one right now.
Okay.
And it's going to be super badass.
Yeah.
And then hopefully maybe we make something together collaboratively. Who knows?
A special limited edition Room101 Axis AR.
I think.
That would be amazing. Yeah. I like that.
It feels appropriate.
I completely agree. Any thoughts about America right now and what Americans should focus on?
Well, not that I delve too deeply into the political spectrum myself, but I think that Americans our age and younger are going to create the future of this country, and a lot of that's going to be with their own hands and through their own efforts to develop their own businesses and carving their own paths in life, and fighting through, I think a system that's failed them. And so I think it's very important to champion for and foster the growth and development of the entrepreneurial spirit, and help younger people find their creative niche and their flow, and have the confidence to step out there and do it. Because it's a fight, no matter how you cut it up. So why fight the rest of your life so someone else can get rich?
Yeah, I agree. I love it. That is the American dream. That is freedom, right?
I believe so.
I agree. What's your American dream?
Mine?
Yeah.
I think to be worry-free, from my own hand, and from our brand's efforts, right? And after that, as long as I have my family around me, I'm pretty good wherever I am. And I think that would be my dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how close are you to living it?
I think I might be right around the corner.
So what are you excited about that's around the corner, other than almost being there to the American dream? What's new? What are you excited about?
I don't think I think that every step of this process, if you're living this on a daily basis, is part of the dream, which can many times seem more like a nightmare than a dream, of course.
Right.
And anybody that knows what I'm talking about. I don't think the dream is a destination as much as it's the combination of the destination and going through the journey to be able to appreciate what the destination looks like and identify it once you get there.
You think with that journey, the Room 101 brand will continue to evolve?
Of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just
it has,
because it comes from the heart, right? Yeah. As you grow, as you get more wise, as and at least for me, and I know it's the same for you, having children changes that perspective about where your role resides in the world.
Tremendously so.
What legacies really mean. So what do you want your legacy to be?
Well, my legacy is going to live in my son, and I just want him to have a completely different and brilliant life than the one that I had.
A different life.
Yeah, and I want him to have, from what we do, him to have the foundation to do so, and to pursue every last dream that he has.
That would be a good legacy. I agree. Well, it's been an honor. Thanks for sharing time with us. Thanks for sharing the story. We are huge fans of Room 101, and we strongly encourage our readers to get behind you.
Thank you, man. The honor's mine.
You're one of the good guys. All right,
Thanks,
buddy.
Man.
Thanks.
Take care.